So you've made the jump and you started listing items for sale on Mercari and you made your first sale. Now what? How are you going to make sure you pack and ship your item correctly so that it gets to your buyer quickly? That's what this whole video is going to be about. I'm going to be explaining exactly how Mercari shipping works. So first we'll talk about all the shipping supplies you will need so that you can get and stay ready. We'll talk about all the shipping options you have along with prices and shipping times as well. I'll demonstrate exactly how and where you can print your shipping label. We'll talk about drop-off locations, and lastly we'll end with a small discussion of what happens after you ship your item. Before we jump into all of that though, a few things. First, in the description of this video you will find timestamps to everything I talk about in this video. So if you want to skip to a certain portion and you're just interested in certain information, make sure to check out the description for a timestamp. Second, any products that I mentioned throughout this video will also be linked down below. And if at any point in this video you find value, make sure to support my channel by giving it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more reselling, business, productivity type content. From the moment you make a sale on Mercari, you have 3 days to ship your items. If you want to avoid cancellations or bad reviews, make sure that you're prepared with your shipping supplies beforehand. And that includes at least 5 of these things. The first, of course, is going to be packaging, and depending on which shipping option you end up going with on Mercari, you can use one or more of the things I am about to talk about. For packages over £1, you can go with priority mail, and this is USPS packaging. You can find this for free on their website that I will link down below. They have lots of different size boxes, and they also have envelopes as well. But again, this is only for priority mail, which we'll talk about. You can also use these brown boxes here. I bought these at Walmart. They have several different sizes and they're anywhere from 50 to 70 cents depending on the size you buy. Another type of packaging you can use are poly mailers. This is just a very thin poly mailer, but it gets the job done, and I buy these on Amazon. Next thing you will need, of course, is a printer to print your shipping label. For a long time, I used a regular paper printer and that works just fine. Just recently I got a Dymo, which is a thermal printer that has a sticky paper, so you can use either one of those two. But if you don't have a printer at home, later on in the video I'll share the different options you have so that you can still get your package shipped. You're also going to need some tape to tape your boxes, and if you end up going with a regular paper printer, you're going to have to cut out the label and tape it on the box. For shipping, you're also going to need a scale. This is the one that I use. It's just a very small scale. You can open it or close it. You'll also need one of these, a tape measurer, because the shipping price does depend on how much your item weighs and the dimensions as well. So make sure you keep these two things handy so that you pay for the appropriate shipping price and avoid any issues. And the last thing is optional, but it is recommended by Mercari. They do recommend that you add thank you cards inside your packages. So these are the ones that I buy and use. There are 200 thank you cards in here, and it's by Hallmark. I think this thing is $15. And if you don't want to use thank you cards, you can also just use thank you stickers. These are the ones I have. They say thank you for supporting my small business. So sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll just put this on the package instead. If you don't have either one of those two things, and or you want to avoid investing in something like that just yet, you can also just message the buyer when they purchase. Just thank them real quick for making the purchase from you. Tell them you'll have their item shipped out right away. Just send them a small message acknowledging that you received the sale and thanking them. That can go a long way. Your Mercari shipping journey really starts when you are listing your item. So here I have an item that's ready to go with the pictures, the title, the description, and all this other information. I will leave a video linked up in the cards and in the description of this video if you want to see my Mercari listing process. For now, we'll skip over all this information and go straight to the shipping portion right here. You have 3 different fields you have to fill out for shipping. The first is your shipping zip code right here. And then we have to decide who will be paying for shipping, you or the buyer. The last field is how they will be paying for shipping, meaning how much and with which shipping carrier. We'll get into this how portion later on. For now, I want to discuss the 3 different options you have when it comes to who will be paying for shipping. The first shipping option is when the buyer pays for shipping. That's the one that is selected now, so they would be paying $7.99 for shipping. Down here on this pricing breakdown, you can see that here is the set price. After that, we have $3.90 deducted for a selling fee. That is the fee Mercari charges you for using their platform and their customers to sell your stuff. And then we have a processing fee. So Mercari takes care of all the payment stuff, so they charge you a fee for processing payments. If you want to learn more about these things, you can click on this I information button and kind of see what this means. And then down here is your final earnings. So these are the only 2 fees you will be charged for since the buyer is paying for shipping. If someone were to buy these shoes at this price of $39, they would pay these $39 plus the $7.99. But the $7.99 will go to the shipping company, and then these fees will go to Mercari, and you will only get this final earnings down here. If on the other hand you change this to I'll pay for shipping, which is option 2, then you would see that the shipping is now deducted along with the fees that Mercari charges. So this gives the buyer free shipping and you end up paying for it, so your earnings do go down. Both of these first 2 options we talked about are done through Mercari with a prepaid label, meaning the label is paid for as the sale is made. So shortly after, Mercari will email you the label, and all you have to do is print it and put it on your box, take it to the appropriate location, and you won't have to pay anything extra. The shipping label has already been paid for. But that is not the case if you choose the third option, which is that you will pay and you will use your own shipping label. To get to that option, you'll change this to I'll pay like it is right here. You'll click under the shipping field, and right here, instead of having it checked prepaid label, we'll switch it to ship on your own. Shipping on your own means you will not be using the shipping options Mercari has available. You'll be responsible for creating and buying your shipping label by either going directly to a post office or using sites like PayPal or Pirate Ship. When you ship on your own, that also gives the buyer free shipping, and as you can see right here in the pricing breakdown, there is no shipping deducted, only the selling and the processing fee. But since you will be paying out of pocket for shipping, you'll have to deduct your shipping price that you ended up paying on another site or at the post office from this final amount to get your actual earnings. Something to be aware of if you decide to ship on your own using your own labels and paying for it is that you will lose your $200 Mercari protection. When you use Mercari labels, they insure your package up to $200. So if something were to happen, it goes missing or it gets damaged in transit, they will cover it for you. But if you decide to ship on your own, you won't get that benefit. But there are some reasons why you may want to decide to ship on your own and risk that anyway. If you're selling items that are above 150 pounds, Mercari actually does not let you use their shipping labels. You have to use your own. If you're selling bulky items, you have to ship on your own. If you're just selling clothes, small accessories, shirts, and things like that, that's something you don't have to worry about anyway. Another reason why you may want to ship on your own and use a different site to purchase your shipping label is if you want to offer free shipping on all of your items. As you saw, if you want to offer free shipping, then it will come out of your earnings, and that can get pricey real quick. And oftentimes the shipping prices are a lot cheaper on other sites than they are on Mercari. So if you wanted to offer free shipping on all your items, that may be an option you want to explore. To get accurate shipping prices, the first thing you have to do is weigh and measure your items. First, I'm going to show you how I do it, and then I will show you the appropriate way to do it. What I started doing recently is I take the picture of the item and then I put it in a poly bag. From there, I will put it on this shipping scale and I take a picture of the weight here. That way, as I'm posting, I know exactly how much the item weighs, but you do have to account for packaging when shipping. Packaging weight counts as well. So I will add about 3 to 4 ounces to this shipping weight, depending on whether I will be using a box or a poly mailer. Now I can do these estimates because I've been doing this for long enough to kind of be able to estimate about how much my final weight will be after packaging. But if you're just getting started, I recommend you go ahead and weigh it with packaging as well. So what you could do is add a box on top of your scale like this, and then add your item in there and use that weight instead. Now you also need measurements, as I mentioned earlier. So for most boxes, the measurements will be on the box already here. So those are the measurements you can use when listing on Mercari. But for a poly mailer like this one, the measurements are not on the bag already. And besides, if I was shipping this shirt, I wouldn't use the whole poly mailer. I would cut it up until the point that I need to, then I would fold it, and those would end up being my final dimensions. When it comes to the dimensions of the length, height, and width, it makes more of a difference if you're selling bigger items. But for items like mine, shirts, jeans, shoes, and sometimes accessories, it really does not make that much of a difference in the shipping price. So most of the time I skip that step. I don't measure my packaging and I don't input it into Mercari because it's optional anyway. And that's just my way of moving along faster. I just estimate things here and there, and I've never had an issue with a package being returned to me. By now, I know more or less when I should actually measure a box, and most of the time that's when I feel that either one of the dimensions is gonna go above like 12 inches or so. But in the beginning, when you're getting started, it is beneficial for you to measure your items with the packaging so that you can get the exact weight, and measure each dimension with the fabric measuring tape or a ruler or something, just so that you can get everything on point and you don't have issues in the beginning. Later on down the road, you can kind of start estimating things so that it doesn't take as long to get your listings up. Okay, now let's talk about the actual shipping prices and shipping times. How long will a package take to arrive to the buyer's address? When shipping on your own, shipping times and shipping prices will vary depending on which site you end up using, but I can tell you that on sites like Pirate Ship, the shipping will be at least a couple dollars cheaper than it is on Mercari. But that's not going to be the case if you go to an actual post office. Mercari shipping labels will always be cheaper than if you were to go to a post office by a large margin too. So when choosing between going to an actual post office and shipping with a Mercari label, Mercari will always be your best bet. And for Mercari shipping rates, to get to those first, you have to make sure that you switch to a prepaid label by clicking here and checking the top option instead. Now this prepaid label option works the same whether you pay or the buyer pays for shipping. The process and the pricing that we're about to talk about applies to either option. After you pick the prepaid label option, then you'll be given these different fields to fill out. The first is your item weight, so your pounds and the ounces as well. If your ounces end in decimals, it's better to always round up instead of down. It's always better to slightly overpay than to underpay, because then you'll run into shipping issues. The next fields are your item dimensions we talked about. I went ahead and input some dimensions here, but most of the time I just leave this blank because, as I said, with my smaller items, these dimensions don't make that much of a difference. Once you're done inputting all these dimensions, go ahead and click select carrier. and then you'll be given your different options. At the top, you'll see the carrier name, you'll see the price, and how long it's going to take for the item to arrive. Next to that, you can always click this to find one of these post offices near you. So for this particular item, my cheapest option would be FedEx Smart Post, so that's the one I'd be selecting. So that is what you'll do with all your items that you list for sale on Mercari. You're going to weigh the item, use the smallest package possible, input the weight and the dimensions on Mercari, and then choose the cheapest shipping option that Mercari gives to you. But just for future reference, I'm going to go over all of the shipping prices and shipping times that you have available with Mercari shipping. But just so we're clear, the prices I am about to share are when choosing the cheapest option Mercari gives you, and they are for small to medium packages, so nothing too bulky because the dimensions of that will change the price. And lastly, these prices are as of 2021 because shipping prices do change slightly every year. If your item weighs a pound or below, then your cheapest option is going to be with first class USPS. That's the United States Postal Service, and your item will arrive in 1 to 5 days using this. Underneath that, there are 3 separate categories as well. If your item weighs 1 to 4 ounces, the shipping price will be $3.65. If it weighs 5 to 8 ounces, the cost is $4.80, and for 9 ounces all the way up to the pound, the shipping price will be $5.99. When it comes to USPS, you have several drop-off options. The first one is if it fits, you can put it in your mailbox outside your home, or you can also drop it off in one of those blue mailboxes that are around town. And if you have lots of packages, you may want to schedule a package pickup. You'll just put all your items outside of your porch or somewhere, and then they will stop by and pick it up. Or you can also just drive to a USPS office and drop off your packages there. If your item weighs a pound and an ounce or above, all the way up to 3 pounds, your best option will be FedEx Smart Post. And with this, your item will arrive anywhere from 2 to 10 business days. I use this option often, and it arrives anywhere from 2 to 5 days. It never really takes the 10 days. With this one though, it is $7.99. With FedEx Smart Post, you also have several drop-off options, but it can get a bit confusing, so bear with me here. FedEx and USPS have collaborated somehow, and essentially what happens is when you drop off a package at FedEx that is a FedEx Smart Post package, from there it will get delivered to a USPS facility, and then from there the package will get delivered under normal USPS procedures. So it is up to you whether you want to drop off your package at a FedEx to begin with, or whether you want to just go ahead and drop it off at a USPS post office, or use any of the above options we talked about for USPS. Schedule a pickup, put it outside your mailbox, or any of that. Some people claim you can't do that, that if it's a FedEx Smart Post, you have to drop it off at FedEx, that if you drop it off at USPS, it won't get delivered, and on and on. But I do this all the time. I always mix in my FedEx Smart Post packages with USPS and deliver them to USPS, and they always get delivered. Nothing ever happens. I've never had a problem. With the 1 pound and 1 ounce all the way up to 3 pounds, there is a second option you have, and that is with priority mail. And this is also with USPS, the United States Postal Service. Now it is more than the $7.99 that you would pay with FedEx. It's $4 more at $12. But the benefit with this is that it arrives faster, anywhere from 1 to 5 business days. This is a shipping option that Poshmark uses, and the item always arrives within 2 to 3 days. It never takes the whole 5 days. The other benefit is that you can use USPS priority mail packaging with this option. So if you want free packaging and you want your item to arrive faster, you may want to pay the $4 extra to use this service. And since this is USPS again, your drop-off options will be the same as USPS first class. your mailbox, one of the blue mailbox, schedule a pickup, or drop it off at a USPS office. But moving along to the next option, when your item is 3 pounds and 1 ounce all the way up to 5 pounds, then you would also be using FedEx SmartPost, but the price would increase to $9.99 this time. And the shipping time for this is 2 to 10 business days as well. And again, the same FedEx SmartPost shenanigans will apply here. You either take it to a FedEx office or use one of the USPS options we've discussed about. The next option is FedEx Home, and this is for a package that weighs 5 pounds to 1 ounce all the way up to 7 pounds. And for this, the cost is $16 and your item will arrive anywhere from 1 to 6 business days. Now, FedEx Home is strictly FedEx. They are not collaborating with USPS in any way, so these packages must be dropped off at a FedEx office. Or you do have a second option, and that is to drop it off at what they call a drop-off location. They sometimes partner up with grocery stores or pharmacy stores, and they'll make that a location where people can drop off packages. Most of the time, these stores will have a sign outside saying they are a FedEx drop-off location, or you can just use Google. And what you'll do is take your package to a cashier. They will scan, you'll sign that you dropped off the package, and later FedEx will come and pick up your packages at that store. And the last option that we did not touch on is UPS. And with this, the package will arrive anywhere from 1 to 6 days, but this is almost always the most expensive option in any of the 4 categories we just talked about. But the benefit with UPS is that you don't need a printer for your label. All you have to do is go to the email Mercari sends to you after a sale is made and show them the QR code. If you do ever choose to go with UPS, you have a couple drop-off options. The first is to drive to a UPS store and drop off your package there. And the other is just like FedEx Home. UPS has drop-off locations, stores and pharmacies that they've partnered up with to make it easy for you to drop off your package. So if the line is too long at a UPS, or if the office is now closed but you wish to drop off a package, you can always visit one of these drop-off locations. Now let's talk about printing your shipping label, and I'm going to be going over 3 options just because the process varies a little bit depending on which one you go with. So we'll go over how to use a regular paper printer, how to use a thermal printer, and then third, we'll go over some options you have if you don't have a printer yet. So I am here on my Mercari store, but you can also do this from your email. They will email you the shipping label. For now, I'm doing it from here. Going to click on my profile picture up at the top. And then I'm going to go where it says selling. At the top, there's 3 different options: listings, in progress, and completed. So we're interested in the ones that are in progress right now. Here are all the items that I've sold recently that are still in progress. All of them say awaiting rating from buyer, but there is one that says ship the item. So I'm going to click on that one. At the top is your shipping tracking information. Then below that is shipping information, and that's where you see this that says print label. So that's the one I'm going to click on. That will automatically download the shipping label to my phone. So now I just have to click on that download. From there, it takes me to this page where I have to click the 3 dots on the top right and click on print. And from there, all I have to do is click this yellow button to print the label. And this is what the label will look like. All I have to do is cut off all this excess part and just use the label right here. If you're using a Dymo or any other thermal printer, the process is going to be a little different. I'm here on my Mercari store on the desktop, but again, you can do this from your email. They will email you the shipping label. To get to the shipping label, I'm going to click on my profile picture up at the top. Then we're going to go to my seller dashboard. From there, you will see right here that it says one sale is requiring action. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on this sale that I made recently. And down here, you'll see the same option that we saw on the phone where it says print label. So I'm going to click on that. Now it downloaded as a PDF down here on the bottom left. I'm going to click on that to open it up. The first thing I have to do is rotate this label so that it's upright. Most other selling platforms will allow you to format the shipping label so that it's only this part and you can print it on your thermal printer. But Mercari doesn't offer that option right now. So that's why we have to go through some extra steps if you're using a thermal printer. On my computer, I'm going to click the Windows, the Shift, and the S button. That will bring up a screenshot tool. If you're using a Mac computer, the screenshot tool may be different for you. So just Google how you can screenshot and you should be able to find an option that works for you. So what I'm going to do is just basically cut out this label from this paper. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as close to it as you can get it. And now this label is copied to my clipboard. Now I'm going over to my Canva account, and as you can see, I already have a design that I use to print my shipping labels on, and that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to delete the shipping label that was there previously and press Ctrl V on my keyboard so the shipping label that was in my clipboard can go ahead and be pasted here. So now my shipping label is in a 4x6 format. So now I can download the shipping label as a PDF, and just like when I downloaded with Mercari, it will be here on the bottom left. Now I can click on it, and as you see, it's formatted correctly now. And now I can go ahead and print the shipping label so that it can print as it should. If you don't have a printer right now, here are some of your options. The first is to choose UPS as your shipping carrier on your Mercari shipping options. When Mercari emails you the shipping label, they will also have a QR code, and all you have to do is take your package to UPS, show them the QR code, and they can print the label for you at the store. I don't know if USPS or FedEx do this. The only one I know of is UPS, but you can try. Places like Staples and FedEx have computers that you can use to print your shipping label, or you can try your local library as well. The last thing I want to go over is what happens after you ship your item. So I'm here on my Mercari app. I'm going to click on my profile picture on the top left, and then I'm going to click on the selling option. There you can see that I have these black pants that I have to ship, which I actually already did. I packed the item and I put it outside in my mailbox, so it should be picked up by the mailman any moment now. So after you've done that, after you dropped off your item either outside in your mailbox or at a facility like FedEx, UPS, or USPS, you may want to come here on your app and click on confirm shipment. Or if you're shipping on your own, what you're going to have to do is come to the app, click on confirm shipment, add your tracking number, and select which shipping carrier you're shipping the item with. But since I'm shipping with Mercari, I'm going to click on confirm shipment here, and that will notify the buyer that you've dropped off the item. Not that the item has started tracking or anything, just that you dropped off the item. If you're shipping with Mercari, you don't necessarily have to go on the app and confirm shipment every time you drop off your package, because after the facility actually scans the item and it starts tracking, Mercari will automatically update that status, and they will notify you and the buyer that the item has started tracking. But I like to do this step often just to kind of stay organized and know what I've shipped and what I haven't. I have orders coming from 3 different stores, so this just keeps me organized. After clicking on confirm shipment, these black pants have changed the status from ship the item to awaiting rating from buyer. Once the item has arrived to the buyer's address, this status will change to item has been delivered, and both you and the buyer will be notified of all this all along the process. Once the item has been delivered, they have 3 days to rate you as a seller. They have to go on the app and confirm that their item has arrived, that it's in the condition that the description said it was and everything. And once they confirm all of that, then you will receive your funds on the Mercari app. If they don't rate you within 3 days, then Mercari will automatically close the sale, and then they can't make any returns or anything else because their 3 days are up. And after Mercari closes the sale, then your funds will also be available on the app. Your money will go on the app, and from the app you can transfer the money over to a bank, or you can request a check. And for more information on how all that payment process works, how to select your bank and everything, go check out this video right here. I explain everything in detail. But as for this video, that is everything. I hope I answered all the questions you may have had about Mercari shipping. If you have any more, make sure to leave it in the comments below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And for more reselling tutorials, check out this playlist right here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like if you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching.